Hey guys, James here from TCGU University, and welcome back to another deck profile. I'm going to show you Travis's Azwel deck. Make sure if you want to see this deck in action to check it out in the campus championships. Let them know what you think about it down below, and let's get into it. Okay guys, Azwel is a 631 with all chaos and void. He has two abilities. E, your attack. Your opponent discards the top 3 cards of their deck. If no attacks were discarded this way, draw 1 card and your opponent discards the top another 5 cards of their deck. And then E, commit a foundation, your opponent discards the top 3 cards of their deck. If they have the same control, this attack gets +6 or -6 damage. So the way this deck's built is it's mostly a momentum multiple style deck, but if that doesn't work, it does function very well as a mill deck. So let's get into the rest of it. Put Azwel up here. Yeah, right there. Okay. So like I said, we're a multiple deck, so we're going to use Fatality. Fatality is a 0/3 1 block foundation. You don't care about the damage as the stack says it can't deal. You get to respond after it's played to remove any named copies of a card in your opponent's discard pile. Sometimes you go with key cards, sometimes you just go with the most just to make sure you limit your opponent. This works really well with our later game plan of if nothing works, mill them out. Plan B should never be plan A. But after it resolves, it goes to your momentum, and we get to use it for multiples, which also get to use Azwel's mill as well. So like, it just works out. In my opinion, the best card in this entire deck, for whatever reason, is Pay on Thrust. It's a 4/3, 4/4 with a 1 mid block. Charge punch weapon. E, if this attack is completely blocked, you add it back to your hand after it resolves, which means your opponent either partial blocks it and they take half damage and it goes to momentum. They full block it, it comes back to your hand, and you get to mill more cards with Azwel. Or they don't block it and they take the full damage and you get the momentum for later anyways as well. And then E, your next combo attack this turn gets -2 difficulty and +2 damage, which just leads into other things. It just works really well at getting 1 free mill and getting the damage in, because if your opponent ever blocks it, you'll get another free mill, and this will eventually deal damage. That's the point of this card, to eventually deal. Into a card that combos with it, 2 West Wing combo. Really a combo. It's a 4/3 with a 3 mid. It's a 3 mid for 5 with a 1 high block. Punch multiple 2 weapon combo with a combo, or a combo with a charge. So any attack with charge on it. We have a few more. Its ability is E. If this attack deals damage, destroy one of your opponent's assets. Multiple copies of this attack gain this ability as well. And then combo E, add 1 card from your card pool to your momentum, which just leads into more multiples or its own multiple too as well. This card works really well as a build momentum for something else we could play later. As a good destroy assets if our opponent's heavy assets. Has a nice high block. Altogether, a good rounded card for a combo charge deck. 4 Rapid Gale Barrage. It's a 4/3, 4 mid for 4 with a 2 low block. Charge reversal weapon combo with a combo. Combo E is it gains multiple 2, and then E, if this attack deals damage, your next check to play a card gets +1. Multiple copies of this attack also gain that ability, so sometimes you can give just +3 other things. And then for like every single multiple, you get to mill more with Azwel as well. Just being able to just mill your opponent out, which is why the mill condition kind of comes in handy if you don't kill them, because you do just kind of just limit the amount of options they get. And then 3 Sadistic Ways. It's a 4/2, 5 mid for 4 with a 1 mid block. Fury, multiple 2 weapon. E, lose 2 vitality, reduce this attack's multiple rating to 0, add 2 cards from your hand to your momentum. Get ready and build that momentum for the multiples. And then Desperation E, this attack gets multiple. This attack's multiple rating gets +2, making it a multiple 4, making it a bigger multiple. And then Deadlock E, you may add up to 2 cards from your hand to your momentum. This attack's multiple rating gets +2. Just more multiples, more ability to gain momentum. It's basically just a good leadoff card that says we're gonna multiple you at some point. Because we're playing all these multiples, we got 4 Last Priestess of the Winds. It's a 2/5 with a 2 mid block with good ability that says E, your face down attacks get +1 speed and +1 damage. This just says all of our multiples are going to hit harder and harder. It also has the other ability of R respond flip. After a multiple attack is played, you can reduce its multiple rating to 0. Add the top card of your deck to your momentum, which says we also get to do some momentum generation with that. But getting that +1/+1 to your multiples makes them scary, as well as getting to mill more. It means either they're dying by the damage or they're dying by the mill. Since we do stuff a lot of things into our momentum, we got 3 Dark Tournament Looms. It's a 1/5 of the 2 mid block that says E remove, add 1 of your momentum to your hand, and then draw a card. So it replaces itself and gives you something from momentum. A lot of times you'll know what that something is if you add it with Sadistic Ways, if you add it with the West Wing combo. It just says you know what you're picking up, and you're going to draw a new card. We got 1 Spell Circle. Spell Circle is a 3/5 no block. You can only play 1 of it in your deck. Void Enhance, you force your opponent to discard 1 card. And then respond, discard pile, discard a card, add it to your momentum. And then respond, remove from game pile, remove 1 card from your hand, add it to your momentum. Just says we have an auto momentum gain if we ever need it for multiples and whatnot. 2 SSLL. It's a 1/5 of the 3 high block. E once per turn, flip 1 foundation, add the top card of your deck to your momentum, only playable if you have 0 momentum. Again, this is just a flip a foundation, get an auto momentum, have it ready for the multiples so we can multiple and still mill with that as well. We got 3 Hiding in Plain Sight. It's a 2/5 of the 3 high block. E, add this card to your momentum. If your opponent's at Desperation, add the top card of your deck to your momentum as well. Meaning, if your opponent's at Desperation, you get 2 momentum, which is super nuts in a multiple character. But it gives us 1 momentum for a multiple just on its own. Another card that does practically the same thing is Protecting Yukina. It's a 2/4 of 1 mid block that says E destroy, add the top card of your deck to your momentum. So we add a random card to our momentum, or we can R respond, discard a card, discard momentum. After you block with this card, that attack will deal no damage. So we can either use it as momentum for our multiples or block something and not take anything. We got 1 Manus Aeneas. Allows us to put attacks back in our deck. It's a 1/5. First form, shuffle up to 3 cards from your discard pile into your deck. And then E commit, your opponent chooses 1 attack in your discard pile. That attack gains the enhance. This attack gains the enhanced abilities printed on that card. This just says we can give cool abilities to our multiple attacks, which is super nuts. Next, we're playing 4 Downward Spiral. It's a 4/2 with a 1 low block, 5 low for 5. Charge Fury weapon. Void Enhance, your opponent discards a card, and then Enhance. This attack gets +X damage. X equals both players' combined printed hand size minus the number of cards in both players' hands. It basically says for every card we don't have in our hand that we could have in our hand, this gets a damage. So if we're both 6-handers, I'm a 6-hander, you're a 6-hander, and this is my 3rd card played in a turn, which means I have 3 cards to hand and you only have 2. It means this gets a total of 7 damage, which means this is a 5 for 12. Just crazy strong it's just crazy how fast and strong this gets. And then the last attack we're playing in our deck is for Face Splitter. Face Splitter is a 4/3, 3 high for 4 with a 2 mid block. Weapon, combo with another weapon. Combo E, this attack gets +1 speed and +1 damage for each weapon card in my card pool. And then all enhance, if your opponent is at Desperation, you get to draw a card. This works really well as a opponent blocks a bunch of our cool things. We're just trying to gain momentum. Send in Face Splitter. It gets a bunch of speed and damage, confirms a hit, gets a bunch of damage in, and goes to our momentum afterwards. Super cool card. Then we got 3, the original Mecha Ninja. It's a 2/5 of the 3 low block. Breaker 1 weapon. Respond card pull. After you play this card, your next check to play a weapon card gets +2. Weapon card being foundation or an attack or a asset. It just allows you to play practically 1 thing for free almost. Then 2 abilities. E check a 4 for +1 damage to a mid, and E check a 4 for +1 speed to a high. That's a nice 3 low block too. And then we got 1 Warrior of the Lost Clan. It's a 2/6, 3 mid block. Unique weapon. E commit, switch this weapon attacks speed and damage values. And then E flip, if there are 3 or more weapons in your card pool, destroy 1 of your opponent's foundations. So you can basically either 1-for-1 one of your opponents, or switch speed and damage values, which if your opponent's trying to reduce damage to not have to block something, you can switch it around and kind of just make sure they want to block it. We do play a bunch of 2 checks. So True Identity. It's a 2/5 of the 3 mid-block. Form commit. Your checks to play attacks get +1 for the rest of the turn. Nice, simple. Don't want to check too badly on our turn. 3 Whirlite. It's a 2/5 of the 3 high block. E flip. Choose one ability on one of your opponent's foundations. Your opponent must play that chosen ability for their next enhance or pass. This card's just basically pseudo flash. You use it, force them to play an ability on a committed foundation. Since they can't, they pass, you pass, then you just go to blocks. You don't have to worry about anything else. Shuts down big attacks, basically. You got 3 Face of a Monster. It's a 2/5 of the 2 high block. Has 3 once per turn playable abilities. Respond after an attack is played. You give it -1 speed. You can pay 1 to make it lose 1 more speed. Deadlock form, your opponent discards 1 card. And Desperation E, change the zone of this attack to anything else. It's good for offense to try and make sure your opponent can't block. It's good for defense to make sure you can block with what you have in your hand. Then we got 3 One with Nature. It's a 2/5 of the 3 low block that lets us push our attacks through. E, discard 1 card. Your opponent's block modifier to block this attack gets +2. That means this would be a +5 on block for anything we try to block. Just by itself. And then respond after you discard a card from your hand during the combat phase or during the enhanced step. Give 1 damage to an attack, playable once per enhanced step. It just means we're able to make sure our attacks are definitely going to try and go through. And then we got 4 Azure Nightmare. It's a 1/6 with the 3 high block. Enhance once per turn, discard 1 card, raid this foundation, playable while committed. Then it has 2 statics. It has 3 statics. One says you can't reduce your opponent to 0 with these abilities. One says if it's discarded, your opponent loses 1 vitality. And one says if it's stunned, your opponent loses 2. It's good anti-stun hate as well as a good card to ready since we do play 2 checks. Then we got 3 Recovering Lost Treasures. It's a 1/5 of the 3 low block. E flip, discard 1 card. Shuffle 1 card from your hand. Shuffle 1 card from your discard pile into your deck. Your next check to play an attack gets +2. This just says, like, again, we do play 2s, and sometimes we want to have big attack strings, and we play multiples, so there's going to be extra cards on our card pool, and being able to pass just 1 more attack is really good for us. Same reason we're playing 4 Dreaming of Becoming Whole. We have a lot of momentum, and sometimes we have some to spare, so it's a 0/5 of the 3 mid-block that says, E, discard momentum, your next check to play an attack gets +1, playable while committed, and then respond once per turn after you discard any number of momentum, even if it's the cost for a multiple attack. Ready this foundation, playable while committed. This just says it gets to ready itself, so if we check bad, we can ready it. It also, especially when we use like multiples, it readies itself, which is really cool. It's a really unique like interaction with it. As well as our next check can get +1 if we use its ability directly, meaning we're going to pass more checks. And then the last card we're playing is 4 Uniting Rebels. It's a 0/6 with 3 mid-block with a Desperation E that says once per turn, gain 1 vitality. We have 31 health. Our Desperation's 15. Anytime we're below 15, gain a vitality. That's a really high number to be at Desperation with, you know? There are some characters that only have 2 more health than that, 3 more health. There's just not, it's not a whole lot, but it's a whole lot to some characters. Thanks for checking out the profile, guys. If you like Travis's deck, make sure to check it out down below. Make sure if you want to support us, go to patreon.com/TCGU University. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, guys, stay learned.